One of the most common questions I get in DMs about restoration is how to remove the covers. So the answer is very carefully, but I'm going to show how I approach removing covers from vintage mass market paperbacks, and I have a couple here. One, a signet from 1958, Alberto Moravia, and then I have a pocketbook here, Henry Morton Robinson from 1952. So when you get most of the books that we're going to restore are problematic. So you see loose pages on these, the text blocks are split. So generally what I like to do is look for someplace where the paperback's already compromised. So we have the split text blocks here, axis, you can see the actual spine of the wrapper here. So this is generally where I'll try and approach it. The most important thing is to protect the spine where the glue attaches the text blocks to the wrapper, in particular try and maintain the integrity of the outside of it. You will, by nature, taking it apart, tear some of the inside of the wrapper, but there are some things that we can do to restore it. So generally I go slow. I will use a craft knife to help along a little bit. Be careful to keep the sharp point of this away from the wrapper so you don't accidentally cut through. If you do, it's not the end of the world. You can usually fix a nice clean cut like that. But you want to be careful, particularly if you have any other compromised areas. So this is hanging on here on this side, so I'm going to actually start on the back. But go slow. You're going to remove the inner layer of the wrapper paper in order to separate that. So that came out fairly clean. Now on the other thing you have is the flyleaf paper. The first and last page of the text blocks are also attached. So you want to be careful not to damage that last page as well. This one's just got a couple places it's hanging on here a little bit. The front half of that text block's going to come off of there nicely now. There we go. So I'm always pretty particular about trying to keep my pages in order, although I double and triple check before I glue up the text block. And this one's got some fragile pages here I'm going to have to repair. So I'll set those aside and do it. So we're able to maintain the outside integrity of this. I use mulberry paper and I'll reinforce and clean up when I recondition the wrapper. I take a similar approach, this 1952 pocketbook. Actually I got a little bit of room on the front. I could attack it from there. Just like to look for different points of entry, since this old cold glue is very, very brittle. That actually looks like a pretty good area right there to. And I do have the joint on this one is pretty torn, so I'm gonna have to go in and repair that as when I restore the cover as well. So again, I'm just trying to help it along just to get to a point where I can tear it away. Keep that knife edge toward the text block. And the glue's sticking pretty good on this one. It's starting to come apart there. depends on the thickness of the cover as well. Some covers, particularly as you get a little bit later books, are a little bit thicker. Some of these early ones are pretty thin, so you got to be pretty careful about it. And there's the tear that already existed, and that bit's coming off the back there. Just a little. There it comes. There's our wrapper, still in good shape. The tears and the joints are already there, so those can be reinforced and fixed. But that's basically how I take apart vintage mass market paperbacks.